I'm Abigail Jarboe. I live at 416 Maple Street, Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I am asking you to consider setting aside some space that people could bring things in and other people could take them away free of charge. Now they do this in Acton, Maine. And I had a phone number for you, but unfortunately I can't find it. So if you have an interest, I can give you I believe it's at the Acton transfer station, but they don't transfer like here from the bus to the bus. They transfer garbage from one place to another. So it's not quite exactly the same, but they have a building set aside where people can bring things and leave them, and other people can take them free of charge. And I think that would be very helpful here. For one thing, it would help the landfill. Now I understand we don't have a landfill or something like that, but anyway, they have to take their garbage away. And so anything that isn't taken within a certain amount of time, they have to cart away, but they would have to cart it away as garbage anyway if they didn't have this program. And so I'm suggesting to you that that would be helpful to people that maybe don't have very much money or just see something that they like but they wouldn't want to pay for it. And they would take it, and then that'd be something that doesn't go to the landfill or whatever we do with our garbage and stuff like that. So I'm asking you to seriously consider either having a room where people can bring things and take it away, or having one day a year where people can bring things in and perhaps leave it on the parking lot or something and other people can take it away. You could have people sign a paper saying if it's not removed in so much time, it's your responsibility to remove it. Or any way you want to do it. But I think this would be a very nice addition to the county and people would appreciate it. Now, there is a store in town that has a cart out and puts free things in it. And people can take it, or I don't know if they can leave it, but they can take it anyway. And usually, as I've seen, most stuff goes fast. Now, I also asked a couple of churches if I could leave stuff there and have people take it for free. And I have been told that everything's been taken for the 2 weeks. I haven't been doing it very long. For the 2 weeks. I don't know if we can continue that program or not, but I would suggest to you this would be highly appreciated by many, many people. And so I'm asking you to consider it, and if you find a favorable response, do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestion.
May I just give you a quick response based on what I heard? In garbage, there's often hazardous waste. And so if we would accept it, we would be responsible for it forever. And if it's not sorted, that would be a real concern to me. We did already have paper shredding events because paper, you know, it's pretty hard to call that toxic. But I would be concerned about people dumping their hazardous waste in it.
I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about things that people think would be helpful to somebody else and they don't want it and they just want to get rid of it.
I thought I heard you say garbage.
Well, that's the other place. That's the Acton place. They're involved with garbage. And they would have to throw out, but wouldn't have to be like that here. You could do it however you want to do it. You could have people have to sign a paper saying if we don't remove everything we brought within so much time, you could have them sign in with a list of what they left. You could do it any way you wanted to because this would be your program. So you could make any rules you wanted to. And I'm not suggesting that they bring in cartons, but stuff that you could see, that you could tell. Like, for example, if somebody's got a bunch of plates they don't want, that's one thing I took to the church. I had a bunch of plates. I happened to have 2 plates with some baseball people on it. And they were very anxious to get it, other people. And I took in a dollhouse. Now, I was told that everything that I took in, except for that one day, everything was taken. I don't know where it went. I didn't see it. But I'm asking you to please consider it because I like free stuff. I'm sure a lot of other people do, and I understand that the things I brought in were all taken because I go back the next week, there's nothing there. I thought maybe they put it in the trash, but the cleaning lady said no, people took it, they wanted it. So,
what about the thrift shops and things that we have that are raising money for the animals, the Humane Society? Couldn't you drop them?
You could give stuff there instead, but there are some people that maybe don't have that kind of money to even pay that much. And it would be helpful, I believe. I think it would be a very good idea. And it's been well received. A couple churches have been willing to do this. And in Acton, they have this building they have set aside for people to bring stuff. And I haven't heard it. I have a friend who takes stuff from that particular building. And in Maine, this is Acton. And when they say transfer station, they're talking about garbage, but wouldn't have to be like that here. It's not like that in the churches. If you lay it out where people can see it, they're not going to be dumping stuff like orange rinds and things. They would be putting things that they think other people might want and they don't. And they're not trying to get money for it. If you go to the thrift shops, you don't get money for the stuff you take to the thrift shops. If they do it that way, I don't know how they do it. But you can, like if you would do it, you could set it up any way you want to. You can make any rules that you want to. And if you don't like the idea, well, then just don't do it.
Thank you.
Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the meeting on February 20th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those minutes are approved. Thank you. Mrs. Newman is already at the table. Good morning.
Just have to find my page. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, we had receipts on March the 4th and March the 5th of $1,649,961.14. That brought us to a total cash of $2,363,746.64. Our expenditures this week were $1,214,325.15. Our tax claim was $124,680.57. So that leaves us $1,024,740.92.
Could you say those numbers one more time?
Which ones?
What, the last number you just gave, 1 million?
$1,024,740.92.
Thank you.
I move to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments?
Comment, I want to point out that the treasurer has added another page, the last page to your report, which is the ongoing hotel tax, running balance, encumbrances, et cetera, so you always have that.
We just received $9,700 at the end of the month, or the end of February, from the 10% county share.
So it shows the total balance in the account, the awards pending, which are the encumbered funds that you've already approved, and then the cash available net of those encumbrances.
Any additional questions, comments? No. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Just have a thank you, Sally.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Barb.
Good morning.
Hi, Barb.
Introduce yourself for the record, and the floor is yours.
Good morning, Barb Smith, proprietary. I had submitted a request to the commissioners asking that the courthouse be open on March the 22nd from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock p.m. so we can have a passport acceptance day. I spoke with the sheriff, Jeff Marley, and he would have someone at the door for security purposes, and he would also have his office open so they can have permit to carry on that day. It's been successful in the past. This would be our 5th time of having the passport acceptance day, and we get very many positive comments from the public due to schedules, children in school, parents working. It's just a walk-in, no appointment necessary, and I'm asking that the employees be paid overtime. As of now, the entire Prothonotary's office would be there, plus someone from the clerks of courts, and we would have 2 interpreters also for the Hispanic-speaking population.
I'll make a motion to accept the passport acceptance day request.
Yeah, that'd be for conducting or for holding the event on the Saturday.
And authorizing the overtime.
Michelle will have that motion.
Okay.
That's why we tried to line Barb up before Michelle.
So this is the acceptance.
Yeah.
So I'll second that motion.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments?
Barb, I'm sorry. Barb, what do citizens need to bring with them just to be prepared?
And we have posters, we will be putting them all over town. They need to bring the application filled out in black ink, the original birth certificate or naturalization certificate, an old passport if it's been expired, but because we only take new applications if it's been expired 5 years or longer. but a child also needs to bring in the old passport. So if they have an old passport, they should bring it along. We can determine. Photo ID, and if it's a child 15 years or under, both parents need to be there with the child, and then we use the parent's photo ID for identification. They also need a photo, which we take in our office, and we charge $10 per photo. We also have our phone number. If they have any questions, we'll gladly answer them, because there are always extenuating circumstances.
Thank you.
How much, must they bring more than one check along, or?
Yes, there must be a check or money order to the U.S. Department of State. One check or money order per application.
No cash?
The prothonotari's fee can all be lumped together, and that may be cash or check or money order. But they are two separate fees, one check or money order per application.
And if someone is renewing in anticipation of expiration, so it expires in August, for example, is there a period of time that's...
They have 5 years past the expiration date to still do a renewal form. We don't submit renewals. They do it on their own, but we will gladly look it over, put everything together for them, give them an envelope.
Okay, so it's not for renewal of existing passports?
Correct.
This is new application?
Correct.
Okay.
But a child, if they had anybody who had a 5-year passport cannot renew. They need to do the application process all over again as though it's a brand new passport until they turn 16. Any other questions?
Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's have it.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you and your
Look
staff
forward.
for doing that. I think that's a real service to the community. Michelle, good morning.
Morning.
Please identify yourself for the record and you may proceed.
Michelle Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Under Personnel Transactions, Resignations, and Terminations, Kathy Yarnell, Caseworker 1, Children and Youth, resignation effective March 3rd, last working day, February 19th. Melissa Trapani, Caseworker 1, Children and Youth, resignation effective March 5th. Lisa Clark, Telecommunicator, Department of Emergency Services, resignation effective February 19th. Maggie Shiflett, Office Support 2, Probation Services, resignation effective March 7th. Carol Brown, Casual Call LPN at the Renova Center, resignation effective January 20th, last working day, December 23rd, 2024.
I'll move to approve those resignations.
Second?
Motion is second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Moving on to changes of status, transfers, and promotions, I have a motion to approve Prothonotary / Clerk of Courts Barbara Smith's request to have up to 9 employees within the Prothonotary Clerk of Courts office be paid overtime for the 4 hours they will be working on passport acceptance day on March 22nd, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve. How many? 9?
Up to 9.
Up to 9.
I'll second the motion. Just a question. Is 9 a good number?
9, yes, 10 including me, but
Okay.
9 for overtime, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? None, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is approved.
Vanessa Andujar, promotion from second deputy / interpreter in the Clerk of Courts to first deputy / interpreter in the Clerk of Courts at the rate of $1,541.22 biweekly with $1,500 annual interpreter stipend, retroactive effective March 3rd. Kelly Travis, promotion from second deputy in the Register of Wills to first deputy in the Register of Wills at the rate of $1,836.95 biweekly effective March 17th. Heather May, change of status from full-time direct care aide at the Renova Center to full-time general aide at the Renova Center. No change in her rate effective March 17th. Susan Drupp, change of status from full-time LPN day shift at the Renova Center to full-time LPN third shift at the Renova Center. No change in her rate with an addition of 75-cent shift differential per hour effective February 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments? None, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Under other transactions, I have a motion to approve the request from Chief Public Defender Megan Tidwell to create a law clerk position within the Public Defender's Office at a grade 14 on the non-union salary chart, working 40 hours per week, effective March 10th, 2025.
Also move.
Second?
Motion is second. Questions, comments?
Comment, this is something we've done in other circumstances where there's someone anticipating their bar exam results. So this is the position until that time.
Additional questions, comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We got permission.
Children and Youth would like to hire the following two social services aide 1/case aide, both at the rate of $1,231.01 biweekly, both effective March 10th, and that is Tina Zalman, Tarlicia Candelario Tony. President Judge Showalk would like to hire Rusty Miller as a law clerk with the bar at the rate of $2,016.10 biweekly, effective March 10th. Pathonetary Clerk of Courts would like to hire Allison Sager as a part-time court clerk at the rate of $16.26 per hour, effective March 10th. The Public Defender would like to hire Juliet Arancibia as a law clerk at the rate of $2,016.10 biweekly, effective March 10th. The Renova Center would like to hire Kimberly Schaefer as a full-time direct support supervisor at the rate of $20.54 per hour, effective March 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments regarding those transactions? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Moving on to Salary Board, motion to approve all transactions previously read plus the following. J. Arenas, who is a rehire, add interpreter pay at the rate of $1,500 annually, prorated from his effective date of March 3rd, 2025.
Also move.
Second?
Motion is second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those salary board moves are approved. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, you all set?
Hi, we're done.
Good morning. Welcome.
We'll try to see how this board works for everybody.
You, please identify yourself for the record, and then you may proceed with your presentation.
Yes, I'm Amber Royals, Administrative Assistant at the North Lebanon Township. So I'm here today to present what we did with the Marsh Salad Shell Grant on behalf of you guys, so we definitely want to say thank you once again for granting that to us. So we were able to plant additional 73 trees at one of our newest parks, Lebanon PA. And then there was a process that we took. The township guys used our various equipments to, whether it's offloading, bringing in soil, taking out dirt, bringing in our own recycled mulch for the project. We even got like our various departments involved, whether it was our mechanic, our water waste guy, and our public works team. So we got everybody involved there, which is great. And then we were able to put in additional 2 benches over at Lebanon PA, which was added to our extended walker path, which we did not have before, so that's a nice addition for us. And then we also added an additional park bench over at our township community park, which our playground was just recently upgraded there in 2022. So that bench is now right located with there, which is nice for those that are bringing children to sit and watch and play. So great addition there as well. Just throughout the years, we got these grants from you guys, and we were able to, bring in more trees, bring in shade, bring in pavilions, bring in revenue for our township, with pavilion rentals and whatnot. So yeah, we just want to thank you guys. We did our project commencing at the end of November. We were awarded $13,000 for the Marcella Shell Grant, and our project cost $26,120. So we definitely want to thank you and allowing us to present what we did. Your funds.
Well, we want to thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time to put the presentation together. It's always nice for us to see how the dollars are being used and benefit your township, but the entire community and improve the
Yeah.
quality of life. So thank you.
Yeah, I also just want to point out that not only does your funds help us with our township residents, but also the county, and then we're also seeing an increase of it attracting those outside our county. They want to hold more like tournaments, like disc golf is getting very popular, so it's benefiting many. So thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, if you don't mind. Just want to verify, did you say 13,000 was your grant?
Yeah, you awarded us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ann.
Please visit our park.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Brian, here? There he is.
Yeah,
Good morning, Brian. If you would, Brian, please identify yourself for the record, and you may proceed. The floor is yours.
All right, my name is Brian Smith. I serve at Lebanon County Christian Ministries. I'm actually here today on behalf of a group of invested partners. I'm actually here because one of them is out of town. Otherwise, you would have had the A team. You got the B team. I apologize for that. So I have just for my notes the ask, the why, the who, the what, and then the funding piece. So the ask today is that we're requesting a letter of support for an Imagine grant through the WellSpan Health System. This grant is to support housing in Lebanon County. The why, our data from our Lebanon County Christian Ministries Uplift Light program shows that over 40% of those that are seeking services are severely housing burdened, which means that greater than 50% of their income supports their housing. 71% of those that seek assistance are behind on paying their utility bills. Both of these data elements lead to individuals living in unstable housing. The American Hospital Association's Housing and Health Roadmap for the Future states that the average life expectancy of a person without stable housing is 27.3 years less than the average person with stable housing. You supported the Lebanon County Housing Needs Assessment that was done in 2023, and since then we've been working on this initiative. Some of the data that came out of there was that since 2010, Lebanon County's overall housing growth rate has outpaced that of Pennsylvania's. The aging population, senior housing is expected to experience the most significant growth over the next several years. Demand across all income levels, moderate and higher income households will drive much of the housing demand in our community. However, there still remains substantial demand for low income rental. Substandard housing, there were identified 2,000 occupied housing units in the county that are considered substandard. And substandard, by that definition, is housing that's considered overcrowded or lacking appropriate plumbing for indoor kitchen and bathroom facilities. And then also the low inventory rental rate at the time of that evaluation, and we don't believe this has changed a whole lot, was at 99.6%. The healthy rate is 94 to 96%. Finally, the key recommendation in that housing needs assessment was that the county has a need for a county housing champion, an individual who would lead this work. There are many other areas around us that have similar positions. So the key partners that are working through this are the Community Health Council, the committees of the Community Health Council, which includes the Homeless Coalition, the Lebanon Rescue Mission, Lebanon County Christian Ministries, and then the local and county government is our desire and our hope. So what is the what? A group of these investor partners, we've come together to identify solutions to this kind of recommendation of a housing champion. The work has been ongoing since then, and obviously the biggest part is how do we fund such a position and what does that look like? As we've discussed this and we've kind of talked this into existence, we were invited to apply. It's an invite-only application for an Imagine grant through WellSpan. That's a 3-year grant process. Up to $750,000 would be awarded. So the plan is that if we would be awarded, well, we're going to apply for the grant, and then if we were awarded, we would be identifying and creating a committee of multidisciplinary leaders of private developers, realtors, homeless providers, eviction prevention programs for those providers, local county government, and that committee would become the Lebanon County Housing Collaborative. We would then advertise and hire a director for that collaborative. Some tasks that we've developed as far as a job description for that position are to develop and implement housing policies and programs aligned with the county objectives, including housing affordability, home repair and preservation, and housing stability. Eviction prevention programming and education, conduct and analyze the needs assessments to identify housing gaps and the demographic trends within the county, develop strategic plans to address those housing needs, work collaboratively with the government to address barriers to housing resources, that meet the demand, build and maintain relationships with community stakeholders, including nonprofit organizations, housing developers, financial institutions, and their residents. And then represent, I'm just gonna say the county, not U.S. county government, but the county as a whole at public meetings, conferences, and committees relating to housing and community development. So from a funding perspective, step one is we have to be a successful awardee of the WellSpan Imagine Grant. Step two would be working with county and city government to secure supportive funding for midterm and long-term sustainability of the position. Our desire is that this position would exist for at least 10 years. We believe that in 3 years, it probably doesn't have enough time to truly substantiate itself completely. If it hasn't done that by 10 years, then it shouldn't exist. The desire would be for that 10-year model to be utilizing braided funding model, where it would be grant funding on the front end, and then we would be working with you from affordable housing dollars, as well as the city, and then other private foundations and donors to support the position. We believe wholeheartedly that as we work through the budget, it's a low ask with a high yield potential that exists within it. So at this point, really what we need is we're asking for a letter of support that you believe that housing is a priority of our community, and that this organization would be a viable option for us to move forward.
Question?
So is this a 3-year WellSpan grant?
Yes.
So that's the front end, and what's the total grant that you're seeking?
From WellSpan is 700. We're going to ask for the 750,000.
Okay, and who is, maybe I missed something, but Stephanie Voigt.
Yeah.
This is to her, but is she with WellSpan?
She is. Yep.
This doesn't mention WellSpan in her address or anything.
Yeah, she is their works with their foundation side that provides funding through the Imagine Grant.
I just expected that WellSpan to be mentioned in the address area, but she is with WellSpan.
Go ahead.
Has anyone else expressed an interest in this grant or this path? Or have you run into any resistance to this presentation at all?
We've met no resistance. We've met most open support of the need. When you say has anybody else expressed interest, do you mean in applying for the grant?
Yes.
So the grant itself is an invite-only grant, so WellSpan is sending out the invites to specific individuals. So when they looked at Lebanon County and who was going to do that, we were able to say, hey, we have this collaborative of people that are partnering to try to come up with a solution. So we'd rather do it as a collaborative than 2 or 3 organizations competing inside of our county.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is there competition that they might be coming to us
The only
as well?
competition would be that they would decide that the grant is not something that they want to do.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
And you have provided a draft letter for us. Thank you. Jim?
You had mentioned early on a percentage having to do with rentals and a 99%.
99.6% occupancy.
Is that what that means? It's
Yeah, so
occupancy?
when they did the assessment of rental properties inside of Lebanon County and identified the available stock, it was only 0.4% available.
Okay, and typically there's closer to 5% available, or
Yeah, in that range, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, at that number, 99.6, it makes it real hard for that cycle.
I'll move to support the letter.
Second.
Motion is second. Any additional questions or comments?
So Brian, the WellSpan grant is 3 years, but you're talking about a 10-year time span. So are you essentially asking the county to sign on for those 7 years at this point?
Well, no, that's not what this is. This would be to support getting that 3-year. We've met with WellSpan and created a funding strategy that would take even some of their dollars and extend them beyond the 3 years. We have to do their cycle in 3 years, but we don't have to necessarily expend all of their dollars in those 3 years. So we've created a braided funding model that would balance the load. And again, like, we're trying to bring solutions to the table, whether affordable housing dollars at the county, whether the city can come up with that will be the next discussion. But if we don't get to 750, it doesn't make sense to ask for the small portion from the county.
Would you get the 750 all at once?
It's a 3-year, it'd be a 3-year plan, so we would get 250.
250.
Yeah.
And then with that provided you get that full amount, that 250 would be obviously the salary of the housing champion, and what else?
Yeah, so we have what would be salary fringe benefits that would go along with that, a small administrative fee, And then we have an emergency housing allocation to identify some gaps that exist inside of crisis housing, code blue type work. Social determinants of health, which relies back to some of that creating stable housing that then will expand life expectancy. And then the last part is some capital investment into a housing project for homeless, long-term transitional housing that's currently on the books inside of the community.
Okay, so there'd actually be property kind of purchased.
Not property, the investment in somebody else's process that's already working. The Rescue Commission's working on a long-term strategy to grow long-term housing.
Thank you.
So we have motion second. I'm sorry.
How many people do you think will be able to be housed once the housing comes out?
Well, the housing itself is transitional. I think that Sue and her team at Lebanon Rescue Commission are still in the design phase of what that looks like. Right now, they have the Agape shelter, which is for women and children, and it's a couple houses. They'd be looking to greatly expand that capacity, as well as part of the project is addressing the seniors. I know that from our shelter, the 55 plus senior single individuals with fixed income has grown significantly. So we're experiencing that. I don't have a specific number yet for you, but they're still in the development of that. Then the impact in the whole picture is compounding based upon how do we increase affordable housing units, how do we, and it goes from there.
Any additional questions, comments? Well, that's off to you, Brian. Good luck. And all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And you have our support. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Aaron?
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Hello.
Identify yourself for the record and you may proceed. Floor is yours.
My name is Erin Moyer, and I'm the administrator for Children and Youth. I'm here today to present first and second quarter invoices for fiscal year 24-25. For first quarter invoices, I would ask that you approve the total amount of $3,610,504.25.
Also move.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Next, I have second quarter invoices for fiscal year 24-25. I ask that you approve the total amount of $4,064,918.22.
I so move.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have that permission.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Short and sweet.
Thanks, Aaron.
Mr. Rubley, good morning. Would you identify yourself and please proceed?
Yes, good morning, Matt Hughley, County Solicitor. I have one item for consideration by the board this morning. This is a land transfer in Heidelberg Township. As you're aware, there are 7 tower sites around the county in which DES is going to be constructing new towers for their system, and the county owns a parcel. This is directly right off of Route 419 in Heidelberg Township. And to make the access to the new tower site a little bit easier, there's going to be a land swap. We're proposing a land swap with Lawrence Taylor and Janice Taylor, where a portion of their property the county will acquire, and a portion of the property that is currently owned by the county will be then given over to the Taylors. They are on board with this. They have been very supportive in speaking with Bob Dowd. They've been great partners with this. So as part of this, I have 2 requested motions this morning. The first is authorizing the signing of the deed, granting a portion of the county-owned property to Lawrence D. Taylor and Janice L. Taylor.
Also move.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The second item that I have is authorizing payment to the law firm of Long Brightfield Attorney at Law in the amount of $906.95. This is the recording costs for both deeds. The deed that is signed by the Taylors granting property to the county, and the deed signed by the county granting property to the Taylors, as well as, that's the recording cost, the transfer tax, and the notary fee.
I'll move to approve that invoice.
Second?
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That first one is a dollar transaction because
Yes.
it's a pretty even swap.
Yeah, yep.
Ready?
Yep, you're next.
All right, first item I have is an application to the Pennsylvania County Risk Pool, who's our grant application for funds to acquire or implement things that would potentially reduce our exposure to risk. And you've approved, already approved about, it was a $30,000 grant per policy year. We've already done about 22,000 of that. This would be the remainder. This grant runs from January 1st to May 30th, so we're approaching the end of the grant year and policy year. But there are two projects here that we're requesting, and when I say we, I'm sorry, I'm referring for the safety committee is recommending your approval of these two items. The first is to purchase one transport leg brace kit and two 10-pound locking leg weights. These are for the sheriff's department in the process of transporting and moving individuals to and from court. Typically, we're accustomed to seeing handcuffs, leg cuffs, that sort of thing. There is some new technology out there where there's a leg brace kit that I'll liken it to a seatbelt in your car where it'll move as long as it's moving slowly. But if someone tries to run and it moves quickly, it just locks and prevents movement. Is that accurate, Sheriff?
It is.
Okay. I haven't tried it. I don't know if the sheriff's tried it.
No, but it gives somebody like me an opportunity to catch them.
So that is, and then the weights, I think there are self-explanatory. It just adds mass to their limbs, making it more difficult to flee. So these are two items the sheriff's office would like to pursue. Total cost on that, I think, is around $824. And then the second item is for ongoing software maintenance for our Guardian program at the jail. This was a program, this is a tool that was originally implemented from a grant from Pennsylvania County Risk Pool. It's an accountability system at the jail where movements of inmates can be tracked, movement of staff can be tracked to demonstrate that, for example, they've done a suicide check, or they have taken someone to a certain part of the jail for treatment, that sort of thing. So in the event, and the reason that P-Corp funded this originally is that it's a way to demonstrate these things, that if there's litigation and someone says, you know, we didn't do something, or we did do something, we can demonstrate that by going back to this record of accountability and showing. So, and that's going to use up the remainder of the grant, $7,257. The total maintenance on that program is $10,000 per year, but we're just going to use the remainder of this because that is definitely a tool that can reduce risk. So with that, I recommend those for your approval.
I'll make a motion to sign and purchase all this for the sheriff, for the P Corp loss prevention grant.
And the
Guardian.
yeah, second for that.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Commission. Thank you.
Okay, next I have 3 applications for hotel tax grants. I will present them to you here in order. You have a copy of them in your packet, but in the order of how they were received. The first is the Mount Gretna School of Art. They would like to use this grant for repair of artist in residence facility for tourism impact. This would be in West Cornwall Township in Mount Gretna. They did attach a narrative. It would be addressing exterior wood decay, ensuring a safe and welcoming experience. They believe that this work would add to additional visitors, including family, friends, and art patrons who attend the public events such as lectures, workshops, etc. And they believe it meets the requirement of promoting tourism-driven economic activity. Their total program cost, or project cost, is $15,000. They're requesting $5,000 in hotel tax funds. The second one is from the Chautauqua Foundation, and this is for the Mount Gretna Art Show Art Show promotion. Again, there is a narrative on the back. This is for the 2025 Mount Gretna Art Show at the Chautauqua. This is the 51st art show. They would like to, their budget is for applications, a national call for artists for applications, magazines, and websites, radio advertising, event software, billboards, and they intend to include the Visit Lebanon Valley logos to reach a wider audience. Their total project cost for this is $12,200, and they are requesting $7,000. There's a note there, they are aware of the $5,000 max, but are requesting $7,000. And the last one is the Spin Stock Flow Arts Festival. This is at Como Memorial Park, and the festival is celebrating its 11th annual event on June 14th. And they were able to purchase and advertise billboards all throughout Pennsylvania. The last time they held the event, it's an established nonprofit organization that would like to receive the grant for not only what is listed in the request, but to expand. And they have a budget attached on the backside for various expenses, including rentals, insurance, posters, ads, banners, and advertising. The total project cost is $10,500. $10,550, requesting $5,000 in a grant. So those are the three that are.
I entertain all three at once.
That's up to you. You have to make that motion.
I'll move that we approve all three with a maximum of $5,000 on each.
I second the motion.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's have it. Those grants are approved in the amount of $5,000 each.
Okay, next item is disabled veteran exemptions from real estate taxes according to the criteria that having been met by all of these applicants for the program. They are Jerry Earhart, Crider Street, Lebanon; Gerald Succi of Falcon Circle, Lebanon; Edward Rydell of Rose Lane, Jonestown; Michael Haynes, Wymoth Drive, Lebanon; Isaiah Campbell, Monticello Drive, Lebanon; Joshua Bogner, Firefly Drive, Myerstown; Benjamin Arnold, Janet Avenue, Lebanon; and Christopher Pond, Brookfield Court, I think, Lebanon.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 8 disabled veteran real estate exemption request.
I will second the motion.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Those exemption requests are approved.
The next item I have is relating to appointments of the America 250 PA Lebanon County Commission. As you're all aware, the former chair of the commission, Josie Ames, resigned back in January, and Bonnie Loy, who is an existing member of the commission, has expressed an interest in filling that vacancy to chair the commission. And in addition, they have included a couple of new members to their commission who have become active, and they would like that they be formally appointed to the commission. And those two individuals are Doug Etter and Rachel Etter. Doug works, I believe, at the VA, Rachel for WellSpan, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So Jamie, would you read off the entire list? for
Yeah,
the record?
so the previously appointed members of the commission are Jen Kuzo, Tom Newmaster, Jan Morrissey, Bonnie Loy, and Jane Yordi. Requesting to add Doug Etter, Rachel Etter, and also to appoint Bonnie Loy as the chair.
And have Bonnie and Doug and Rachel all accepted in, without knowing how the vote will come up? They've been approached already?
They've been actually active on this planning committee.
Okay, I know he led a discussion that I was at, but I didn't know if he was officially.
Bonnie
Accepted.
sent a letter to the board expressing her interest.
Okay, yeah, I saw that, but I didn't know about Doug and Rachel, and thought I would ask if they had agreed to continue on as.
Well, they've been attending, and they've by their own initiative, they've been attending and participating in the planning.
Okay.
So
All right.
I will move that we elevate Bonnie to chair and that we add Rachel and Doug Etter to this group.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Just want to thank Bonnie for stepping up. I watched her in action. I did not know her before this. I've been attending some of their meetings, and she's very active in our community and a great person to take the reins from Josie and lead this effort forward. So I want to thank her. So, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Could I
Oh,
have one comment yet? I want to make sure, should I be abstaining because I graduated with Bonnie? She was in my class. Okay, I just want to make sure there's no conflict of interest. Okay, then I second the motion.
So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
last item I have is an appointment to fill a vacancy on the Clarence Shock Memorial Park Governor Dick Board. Received a letter from the President and Chairman Ray Bender that they have, by the way, they solicited a pool of interested applicants for any vacancies that may arise or anything to do with supporting the park and the board. And so there was an appointment just a few weeks ago, and you're all well aware, unfortunately, of the passing of Tom Harlan, who was a longtime member of that board. And so that has created a vacancy. This vacancy is only for a few months. Tom's term was until June 30th of 2025. And that would be the remaining term to be filled by this individual. They are recommending Joshua Killian to serve the balance of the term of Tom Harlan's service, and they attached quite a number of documents here, handouts for an overview of his interest, his resume, even some recommendation letters, I believe, that came along with that. So that is their recommendation. If you approve, then he would stand for reappointment in June.
6 months, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of Ray Bender to fill the position with Joshua Killian.
Ray Bender?
No, Joshua Killian.
The recommendation, the
No,
letter
she's-
came from
It's the board. It's the entire board that's making the recommendation. Ray signed the letter, but you're
Oh,
correct.
okay.
So the motion
To appoint
approve the recommendation by the Clarence Shock Memorial Board.
Chautauqua.
Yeah.
No, the Clarence Shock Board.
Clarence Shock Board.
Yes, Governor
Okay.
Dick.
All right.
Second that?
Yes.
Yeah. Motion is second.
I just have a
Question.
question. Maybe I missed it, but is he a resident of Lebanon County?
I do not believe so.
Oh, really?
I did some research of him, and it looks like he's from East Petersburg.
Correct. He's originally from Palmyra, I'm
Yes.
told, spends time at the park, and spent a
Yeah,
lot of time.
I saw a lot of references to that, and and he certainly has a nice resume, but I just couldn't find that anywhere, and I wanted to double check. And the only other comment I'll make is, and you've referenced it, that Tom Harlan, he was a long time, I mean, you mentioned it, but I think he may have been there almost since, day one with that board.
Yeah.
Since, and And I just want to recognize his service on behalf of a longtime friend, and just so the family would know how much we appreciated his work.
I'm still a little concerned with the solicitor maybe. Can you weigh in on that? Are we setting a precedent then if we're putting people on the board from outside the area?
No, I don't think there's necessarily a requirement to be the Lebanon County resident.
Harry Deal, who was the last vacancy you filled, was from Lancaster County.
Oh, was he? Well, I guess it's kind of a shared space out
certainly,
there.
yeah.
And this other fellow, is he from Lancaster?
Josh Killian is, so is Dave Eichler. I mean, there's,
Okay.
Yeah, it's not required, it's certainly a preference to, we'd like to find people who live in Lebanon County, but I think the board too likes to find people who
Have a
have a
passion.
good resume and also are strong users of the park.
there are, I know the list, I mentioned earlier, the list that they've assembled and that they're maintaining. There are some individuals on that list who are literally neighbors to the park and have an interest in it, but because of the situation, where it's situated, they're in Lancaster County.
Oh,
They can live a few hundred yards away. and be
yeah,
in
it's so
Lancaster County.
close. Okay.
Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You guys have it. Anything else?
Just a brief session with you, if you could, following the meeting regarding real estate.
Anything else for the good of the order?
I just want to add Aaron Seidel, wrestling awards, and he's, I guess, a senior this year.
Yes.
But he's been, yes. So maybe we could have him come in and, explain his, the history with that wrestling hall of fame and so on. That's all.
Okay.
I think this weekend is the state champions, and hopefully he wins out of it after what, 4 years or something.
Sure is. There's 2 Palmyra kids going also.
To states.
Yes.
All right, anything else for the good of the order? Amy has notified us that we need to meet an executive session to discuss real estate matter.
Oh.
Adjourned. Thank you all.
Please. Laura, Megan, will you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. You want me to email right now? Mayor Andrew and Jason Foltz. Foutz, sorry. Foutz. I can get you their parents' contacts if you want.
Yeah, that would be.
I tried. I apparently don't have the
So they're
influence
on the
like
same, they're just all different.
Hey, at least you're